The Kremlin knows it's over. The generals know it's over. Even the oligarchs know it's over. The only person who doesn't, Vladimir Putin. But as he wanders his secret offices, Ukraine has just delivered a blow so gigantic the Russian rear has effectively ceased to exist. Powered by 11,000 drone missions daily, Ukraine has weaponized the future to shatter Russia's past. Stay tuned, because the data we're about to show you explains exactly why Russia's military is currently in a state of total, irreversible paralysis. Right now, Ukraine holds a massive battlefield advantage, driven entirely by the revolutionary drone technology it has unleashed since Putin launched his unprovoked full-scale invasion. Ukraine's sophisticated mid-range drones are wreaking absolute havoc on Russian forces, striking deep behind the front lines with precision and fury. These strikes systematically destroy Russian logistics hubs, shatter command and control centers, and prevent Moscow from mounting coordinated attacks from the rear. Ukraine has seized this golden opportunity, exploiting the widening technological gulf between its innovative forces and Russia's outdated systems to launch devastating counterattacks while sowing chaos across the Russian rear. The result is unmistakable. Ukraine stands in its strongest position in nearly a year. President Volodymyr Zelensky made this crystal clear on April 3rd, when he revealed that intelligence from UK sources, including a detailed MI6 assessment, confirmed the frontline situation is the best for Ukraine in the past 10 months. By the way, on Wednesday, there was a report from my intelligence and an analysis from British intelligence. I received MI6's assessment of the situation on our front line, specifically that the current situation is the best for Ukraine in the past 10 months. Zelensky declared with justified confidence, the hero of this turnaround is Ukraine's expanding fleet of mid-range drones. The Institute for the Study of War confirmed the shift in an April 10th analysis, stating that both Russian and Ukrainian reporting align with battlefield evidence, showing Ukrainian forces have achieved a clear drone advantage. This dominance has stalled Russia's much-hyped spring offensive and enabled successful Ukrainian counterattacks across multiple sectors. The key breakthrough came from intensified Ukrainian strikes on Russian air defense systems, which opened safe aerial corridors for waves of mid-range drones to penetrate deeper and strike with impunity. After years of back-and-forth drone warfare, the Atlantic Council reports that Ukraine has now pulled decisively ahead, combining short-range FPV strikes, mid-range operations, and long-range deep strikes into a seamless lethal system. Picture the battlefield chaos unfolding in real time. Ukrainian mid-range drones operating in the critical 20 to 300 kilometer zone screen toward Russian rear areas under cover of darkness or through gaps in crippled air defenses. They slam into ammunition warehouses with thunderous explosions that light up the night sky for kilometers, sending massive fireballs and secondary detonations rippling through supply depots. Command posts that once coordinated Russian assaults vanish in precise hits, leaving frontline troops isolated and leaderless. Oil, gas, and energy infrastructure in the near rear erupts in flames, cutting fuel and power to advancing Russian columns. Tanks and armored vehicles sit vulnerable without resupply, while desperate Russian electronic warfare teams scramble futilely against drones that are quieter, smarter, and far more numerous than anything Moscow anticipated. The numbers tell a story of relentless Ukrainian dominance and Russian collapse. Since January, Ukraine's mid-range strikes have nearly tripled. There were 41 such strikes in January, 61 in February, and a staggering 115 in March alone. Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky revealed that Ukraine's unmanned systems forces now conduct over 11,000 combat missions per day, In March, these forces destroyed more than 150,000 verified targets, 50% more than in February. Among the wreckage, 143 Russian warehouses and logistics facilities, reduced to rubble, 52 command posts obliterated, and 20 critical oil, gas, and energy sites in the near rear turned into smoking ruins. These are not abstract statistics. They represent concrete, devastating blows that grind Russia's war machine to a halt, while Ukrainian forces press forward with renewed momentum. Even inside the Kremlin, alarm bells are ringing loudly. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov, appointed by Putin himself after the ousting of Sergei Shoigu, has reportedly told the Russian leader that the drone situation is now critical. Ukraine has achieved both numerical and technological superiority, deploying a new generation of equipment that operates around the clock, virtually silent until the moment of impact. Russian conventional defenses detectors and electronic warfare systems are largely unprepared and ineffective against these sophisticated Ukrainian systems. The loss of reliable Starlink-like capabilities has further hampered Russian drone operations from occupied territories. Belousov's warning is blunt. Russia is unprepared, and the war as currently fought is lost, unless drastic changes occur beyond feeding more soldiers into the meat grinder. Military bloggers and former propagandists, once loyal cheerleaders, have turned sharply critical. Voices like Rybar, with nearly 1 million Telegram subscribers, declare that Russia's offensive has hit a dead end. They rage against pointless mobilization, accuse generals of hiding the truth from Putin, and openly criticize tactics commanders and the feudal backwardness that stifles innovation. Alexei Chadayev, head of a major Russian drone development facility, has shifted from praising Putin to condemning a society that suppresses rights and innovation, leaving Russia unable to match Ukraine's technological pace. These are not enemies of the regime speaking, they are insiders who see the disaster clearly, while Putin refuses to listen. On the defensive side, Ukraine's advantage is equally crushing. Cheap, yet highly effective Ukrainian interceptor drones are shredding Russian long-range attack drones before they can reach their targets. In January, Ukraine downed 2,975 Russian drones. February saw 3,679 intercepts. By March, the number skyrocketed to 7,674, according to ISW reporting. Russian Shahed drones, meant to terrorize Ukrainian cities, destroy infrastructure, and weaken frontline defenses, are now largely failing. Ukraine cracks open the Russian rear with impunity, while Russia fails to do the same. The asymmetry is brutal and growing. Putin's response has been pathetic and delusional. On April 7th, instead of addressing the drone crisis, he issued limp threats against Baltic states he accuses of aiding Ukrainian long-range strikes. Russian Baltic ports have been repeatedly shut down by Ukrainian drone attacks, costing Moscow an expected windfall of nearly $1 billion tied to surging oil prices. Yet Putin offers nothing but the same tired rhetoric, while Russian soldiers die at record rates. 35,351 casualties in March alone, a 29% increase, with 96% caused by Ukrainian drones. A single day in March saw 1,710 Russian soldiers lost. On April 11th, another 1,440 fell in just 24 hours. French Minister Jean-Noël Barrot delivered a stark message. When the EU announced fresh sanctions, the war is a strategic, political, and economic failure that must end now. Russia's global influence is crumbling with losses in Africa, Venezuela, Iran, and Syria. Even Putin's own minister's military bloggers burning oil infrastructure, mounting casualties, and empty bank accounts scream the truth he refuses to hear. Ukraine's mid-range drones continue their relentless campaign. opening corridors, destroying logistics, and enabling bold counterattacks that push Russian forces back in key sectors. Tanks that once rolled with impunity now sit as easy targets or burning wrecks after logistics lines are severed. The technological edge has turned the tide, proving that innovation and resolve triumph over brute force and delusion. Folks, as this dramatic shift unfolds, with Ukrainian drones dominating the skies and reshaping the battlefield, pause for a moment and ask yourself, how much longer can Putin cling to his fantasy of victory while his own defense minister warns of a critical disaster and military bloggers openly revolt against the incompetence? With Ukrainian mid-range strikes tripling and Russian casualties hitting record highs, do you believe this drone advantage will finally force Russia into genuine negotiations? Or will a desperate Putin double down on the meat grinder tactics that have already cost over 1 million lives? Drop your thoughts and bold predictions in the comments right now. Tell us whether you see Ukraine's technological superiority as the decisive turning point that ends Putin's war, or whether we are heading toward even fiercer battles as Russia tries to catch up. Share this report if you want more people to understand the real momentum on the ground. Hit like if you stand with the brave Ukrainian defenders who are rewriting the rules of modern warfare with innovation and courage. Subscribe for the fastest, most in-depth coverage of every development in this historic conflict. Your voice matters here. The battlefield is shifting fast. Ukrainian drones are rewriting history, and the pressure on Putin is mounting by the hour. Stay tuned. This story is far from over, and the next chapter promises even more intense action. This is the front line of a new era in warfare, and Ukraine is proving why determination combined with cutting-edge technology can overcome even the largest aggressor. Thank you for joining this critical watch. The Military Show keeps delivering the truth as it happened. Disclaimer: this video contains content generated or supported in whole or in part by artificial intelligence. This material is intended solely for simulation, illustration, and entertainment purposes. It does not represent real-world events, nor does it constitute political or military advice or verified information. Certain elements may be fictional, dramatized, or inaccurate. Viewers should not rely on this video as a credible source of information or as a basis for real-world decision-making.